G'day guys, this episode of Brutus, we're starting to wrap things up. I haven't really told many people yet, but Brutus is going to a new home. One of my YouTube subscribers and an old mate of mine has decided he wants Brutus, so start to finishing up the projects. Today we're going to be removing the old window tinting, and to get to the window tinting on the doors we're going to be removing the inner door trims, so we'll go through that as a tutorial process. Okay, when removing door panels from VT through to VZ, V will be similar. There's only half a dozen screws that you need to remove, a couple of clips here and there, so let's run through it. What you'll need to do the job: number 2 Phillips, a common, a shorty Phillips, and some trim removing tools so that you don't mark up your trim. Alright, first thing is this little cap up the top here. Just be careful taking it off. It has a single plastic pin and then it slides on to this lip here. Make sure you don't break that pin. You can replace them if you do, but much easier if you don't. Next thing is very carefully with your flat blade screwdriver. A little bit hard to show, but I'll show you close up once I get it off. The door lock mechanism, this one's had it, that's why that's a bit loose. Door lock mechanism has had a little bit of heat shrink put on it by the looks, yeah, or tape, and it's just a matter of getting under the edge of it, and once it pops, goes in that way, no, other way. Once it pops out, it releases the pin in here, and this one, the screw's already loose in there. Another common failure item, plastic's getting old in these cars. You can buy them on eBay. Part of the reason this one was loose is the screw is undone, so relatively easy to get that out. Feels like this screw is actually the wrong size for this position. It's the right screw, but I think they've stripped it. Yep, hole's been stripped in there. Next one I find handy is using a pick tool. There's a tiny little cap in here. Lever it out ever so carefully, and that exposes another Phillips head screw. Don't drop it. And you have a Phillips screwdriver in the plastic just in behind here. Phillips screw. Now underneath the door, at the bottom of the door, you've got one here, and one here. 3 more Phillips screws. Then with your stubby screwdriver, there's 1 screw right here. And 2 more screws at the end. I'll just take you off and show you those screws. 1 screw in here once you've removed the door handle neck. 1 screw here. Plastic vent at the top there. 1 screw here, here, and here. And then 2 screws on the end, here and here. And of course that one. Particularly windy day here in Tyndall. Alright, once you've got all those screws out, then carefully pull out the bottom of the panel. No, there's 1 extra. Forgot about that one. There's 1 more screw just down here, which doesn't feel like it's there. Yep. Right, let's go through that again. Okay, so total screws. 1 here, 1 here for the mechanism, 1 here. Back to the other side, 1 in here which we'll need a stubby for, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then 1 here and 1 here. Right, so once you've removed all the screws, just carefully pull out the bottom of your trim panel, pull it out to about that angle and then push up slightly from the rear. And on the driver's side, of course, you'll have your mirror switch here, which will need to be removed, and it's got a plug on the back of it with a loom. Rightio. Now the reason why we've pulled that trim panel off, obviously if you're doing something with speakers, a sound system, putting in sound deadening in these doors, which are particularly rattly doors, they're very thin, it's a good idea too. But as you can see, tinting is absolutely had it on this, so I'm going to be replacing that before it goes to its new owner. And yeah, so what you need for that is a fabric steamer. Rightio, this is just a little cheap steamer, fabric steamer that I got from Amazon, I think. $100 and something. Very handy for doing upholstery. I'll put the link to the upholstery video. I don't know, get your steamer going. You'll also need a safety razor blade. Be very careful with these things, they are sharp as hell. Once your steamer gets going, I'm just going to drop the window a little bit. Steam will burn you. Steam will burn you badly. Take your time. The more heat that you can get into the old tint, the better the glue will separate and the less residue you'll have to clean off. Now, take the steam away from where you begin to work. You need to just get the start of the tint. This tint seems to be in 2 layers, so I'm going to try and take both layers. Try not to scratch your glass. Take your time, it's not a fast process. Try and remove it all in one piece. If it starts to tear like that, try and get a little bit more steam into the area. Take your time, you get very little residue. Also find trying to pull down at as great an angle as you can helps to remove the adhesive with the film. Don't rush it. As you can see, some residue is staying there on the glass. So get a little bit more heat into there. First half came away really well without any residue. Lower half's going to have a bit of cleanup. You can save yourself some money if you're going to have your car re-tinted by removing your old tint yourself. Most of the tint shops charge a couple $100 to remove the old tint. It's not hard. Once you get the tint off as about as low as you can go, you need to raise your window up as high as it'll go. So you can see this is fairly clean up here, but the residue is all down the bottom here. Methylated spirits works well. Isopropyl alcohol. Methylated spirits. Your rag will clog up fairly quickly with the adhesive, so you might need to have a couple of goes at it. Yeah, rag's getting clogged, so I'll get a new rag. Just watch the edge of this, it's bloody sharp. And you may need to drop your window back down a little bit to do the very top. One little bit of old tint left at the top there. Just make sure you get your glass as clean as you can, otherwise your new tint won't go on very well at all. There you have it, tint removed.